Well, hello friends, welcome back. It is that time of year again. Princess Half Marathon Weekend event guide has been released. We have course maps and all the fun info that everybody loves to dissect. Not a whole lot of change from last year, previous years, or from Marathon Weekend to this weekend. A lot of the same stuff we come to know and expect with runDisney. I'm just going to go over everything. Not too, I guess, in depth because most of it is the same. You can check out some, previous videos if you would like. Obviously, if you have comments and questions, leave them down below or, reach out on Instagram. Definitely have some, breakdowns of stuff on there. I am not running Princess this year. Just worked out that way. I'm not partaking, but I will be at springtime. Yeah, so let's dive in.
3, 2, 1, go!
As always with our runDisney event guides, we have our welcome page. This, of course, is the same from year to year. Adam Ball, the vice president of runDisney, is featured, welcoming us to the event weekend. Just talks about the spotlighted charity for the weekend, which is Starlight Children's Foundation. Simple stuff. But yeah, that's the welcome, and then we'll go into the weekend events. So as for the weekend events, all pretty standard stuff here. As you can see, we have our important information tab, our Health and Fitness Expo tab, 5K tab, 10K, half marathon, yoga, and then you get into, event sponsors and some of the discount deal type of things you can do with all that. That's down below. But let's dive into the important information tab. This is pretty standard. All kinds of just the rules and whatnot you can expect with runDisney, costume guidelines, information on event waivers. There is a tab here for the start group times. This is a new thing that they have been doing for this runDisney season. Started with Wine and Dine, carried into Marathon Weekend, and now carrying into Princess, of course, as well. And then reminders, flight guidelines, medical information, weather information, race etiquette, photo pass, stuff like that. It's all pretty standard, simple stuff. Nothing too, different. But that will bring us into the Health and Fitness Expo. And as you can see, we have this is a 5K, 10K half weekend, so 3 days of the expo, starting on Thursday, February 22nd. Expo open at 10 a.m. For general admission. If you are a Club runDisney, you will get early access. I believe it starts at for merchandise at 8:30 for platinum, and then 9 o'clock or so for gold. And at least I didn't get the details on Club runDisney because I'm not running this weekend. But at least I think that's how it's been going. Anyways, like I said, 10 to 8 on day 1. Day 2, the 23rd, you get 11 to 7. And day 3, a little bit shorter because it's the last day. Less people usually come. It's 11 to 3 as on that day. The expo, all standard stuff, nothing different. If you are not Club runDisney, of course, you do have to join the virtual queue for day 1 of the race expo for merchandise only. Just to emphasize that this is for runDisney merchandise only. So that will be available for February 22nd. You can start joining the queue at 8:30. I think we're in our second or third year of this virtual queue process now. You just go a few days before, it will pop up on, I think it's under, like, it says like special events or ESPN events or something like that, on the tab. And then you click on that, and then go in there, and at 8:30 that will go live. You enter in your queue and who is joining you and all that fun stuff. So yeah, virtual queue process, all pretty standard. Event waivers again, stuff like that. Race bib and shirt pickup information. Expo transportation. This is something that is always kind of just a heads up on this. For if you are Club Run Disney, you do not, you're not able to use the Run Disney transportation to get to the expo early. They only start running the expo transportation at about a half hour before the expo opens, and then it will run a half hour after the expo closes. So just keep that in mind. If you are looking to get to the expo early, you will have to find your own transportation. Outside of that, also there is minivans. They have this ad on every page, pretty much. Just that is an option. Layout is all the same. You'll have your merchandise in the arena down here, which is under A. B is your main vendor expo, also where t-shirt pickup will be, and then C in the State Farm Field House will be your bib pickup. All pretty standard. Nothing's different from the last, at least probably 2 years now. I think it's been this way. Sometimes, they've had differences way back when, but for the last few years, it's been at least this way. So nothing new to expect there. Map of the event merchandise area. You'll have your, the main merchandise all in the middle. There's a section for pre-purchased commemorative items, pickup on the one side. And then there's on the just outside, they kind of have it closed off in the middle for the merchandise. But when you exit, there will be a section for photo ops and stuff with characters and backdrops and that kind of thing along the one side. And that's that. If you are Platinum Club Run Disney, your lounge area is up on the second level. So that, yeah, all nothing new, standard stuff. Going on to the Athletic Center, again, standard stuff. They do not have a vendor list out yet. This is kind of the same as Marathon Weekend. It wasn't until like a week out or so that they had finally the vendor list on there. So I would expect that to be, before the weekend, but we got a little bit before the vendor list is finalized and out. But this is also where you will pick up your race shirts. That's in the back of the building. Vendors and everything will be right in the front, in the middle. So you have that in the Athletic Center. And then, like I said, State Farm Fieldhouse is where you'll pick up your bibs. 5K challenge, 10K, half marathon, all separated. You will find your bib number on the booths, on the signage on the booths there, and stand in line, show your ID, and get your bibs. They also have more photo opportunities in this area. This is also where you'll find runner relations, and if you have any issues with your Run Disney account, it's notorious that a lot of people, their registration will disappear from their account or, stuff like that. And that's where you'll go to the account services desk to get that straightened out. But so outside of that, that is the expo. So let's jump into the Princess 5K. We can start here with your start group times. All of the start groups will open at 3:45, and then A will close at 4:40, B at 4:45, C at 5 o'clock, and then D, as soon as everybody's gone, they'll close that off. There are only 4 corrals for the 5K. There will be 5 for the other races, so just keep that in mind. It's a smaller race, and it's untimed, so they kind of do it a little slightly different than the 10K and half marathons, but overall nothing too different here from what we can expect from last year and from Marathon Weekend this year. Again, race etiquette, reminders, simple stuff. Transportation information. Transportation will begin at 3 a.m. for the races, and for transportation to start will end at 5. You definitely don't want to be chancing yourself getting on a 5 o'clock bus, especially if you are in a earlier corral, because the race does start at 5. So you will not be starting in A or B, or maybe probably even C if you get on a 5 o'clock bus. Just keep that in mind. But outside of that, after the race, finish line transportation will run from 6:30 to 8:30. If you are an A and finish in relatively quickly time, you'll have to wait a bit because the course does go by where the buses will leave, so they have to hold until the course is cleared in order to get you back to your resorts. So just keep that in mind. If you are in the A or B corrals and finishing quickly, you will have to wait a little bit after the race to get back to your hotel. And just a quick note, all Walt Disney World hotels and then Shades of Green, Swan Dolphin, Swan Reserve do offer runDisney transportation. As for spectator viewing, nothing new here for the 5K. You can only spectate at the start and the finish for this one. They'll have bleachers set up right by the start, and they'll have bleachers set up by the finish. Those are your spectating spots. Just standard simple stuff there. Moving on to, let's start with the start staging. We'll go here first. You can see here you'll get dropped off by the Epcot bus loop there, walk through security, then a walk toward past the finish and over to the reunion lot, which is where they'll have the stage set up and characters and whatnot, and then the start groups will be off to your left. So nothing new here again. If you're coming into parking will be open. They'll direct you when you get there where to park. Again, even if you park, you still have to go to the main entrance to go through security, all that fun stuff. All standard, nothing new. And then here again, start staging, kind of a closer look at, you'll have gear check, photo opportunities. Post-race busing will be off to your right if you're facing the stage. Yeah, nothing new there. And now for the course itself. This course is the same as the 5K for Marathon Weekend. Nothing new here. So if you are familiar with that one, this is exactly the same. Little slight differences from last year's Princess 5K, but really not much at all. The biggest difference is because they opened up the center of Epcot, that they're running through that now instead of kind of bypassing that and going straight out. So they give you a little bit more, time in that front area of Epcot. But yeah, the finish line did change for Wine and Dine last year, this past Wine and Dine, this part of the season. But and so that finish line is carried over now to Marathon Weekend and now Princess. It's their new standard finish line. I think that's here to stay for the foreseeable future. Something that they have figured out works better for them. There is only one water stop on the 5K. That will be at the American Pavilion. No food stop on this one. And if there's only water, no Powerade. There is also no Powerade for the 10K, just water. But yeah, nothing too different, crazy here with this one. Moving on to the 10K. Once again, race starts at 5 a.m. We have our start group times here. Basically the same, except for we have an extra corral and the 10K. So D will then close at 5:15, and then E will close once everything's cleared out. So groups open at 3:45. All standard, kind of similar stuff. Spectating, same as the 5K, only start and finish. No other. Well, I should take that back. Officially, these are the only spectator viewing points. But as I go into the course, I will show you where you will be able to spectate as well, just in case you are staying at Epcot Resort and want to do that. An additional tab here for the 10K and then also on the half marathon page compared to the 5K page is you'll have live or runner tracking. That's through Track Shack. That will be here. Whatever your bib number is, or if you're spectating somebody, put their bib number or name into that tracking, and you can track them through that. Transportation wise, same as the 5K to the start, 3 to 5 a.m. for start line, and then at the finish it'll be 6:30 to 9 a.m. So extra half hour for that post-race transportation. They do have a tab for road closures, so if you are driving, especially if you are spectating, this is where you'll go to kind of get an idea of what you need to look out for road closures, because you do run on they do have to close roads for this one, so can get a little bit more dicey, I guess you could say, if you are driving. Especially buses know the routes for the most part. There's always some stories of bus issues, but that so if you are driving, just take a look at this to make sure you are getting to somewhere before that road closes, or if you are spectating, avoid those areas, that kind of thing. Start and staging is the same for all 3 races, so I won't go back into that, but then we'll go into the course. And for the course, you have you are starting again in the parking lot, as all 3 races do now, and really every single Disney race does now. And you'll go out through the front of the Epcot toll plaza there on the roadway, and then do a turn towards Hollywood Studios, and then you'll go into Hollywood Studios for a very brief portion. If we can zoom in here. Now, this is one change from last year's 10K in Hollywood Studios. You do get a slight difference in time in Hollywood Studios. I think last year they took us just a little further on Sunset, but now you're just kind of going out that Fantasmic exit portion. So slight differences, but really it's the same amount of time basically in studios. That time in studios is always very quick, so it's not nothing too different. Then you'll run down the pathway towards the boardwalk, and then you'll run around the boardwalk. This is where you can get that additional spectating spot, and especially if you're staying at the Epcot resorts, it's harder to get there if you're not staying in that area. But you can spectate. Now, they do tell you to be quiet in this area. They don't want you to be loud and screaming for runners, because this is still a resort, and it's usually like 6 a.m. in the morning, so they don't want people that are not involved in the races to be disturbed while they're trying to sleep. So just keep that in mind. You'll have then you'll enter into Epcot via backstage in between Canada and the UK. That will be your final water stop as well for this race. There's 3 water stops on this one. And then you'll go out towards the front of Epcot through the center. You don't get to do much of the World Celebration area this time, or I should say in this race. But you do, you do the same kind of exit that we're used to for Run Disney races. And then out to the finish. Finish is the same again for all 3 races. And that is the 10K. And now for the half marathon. Again, all pretty standard stuff. Nothing too different or crazy for this one. Starts at 5 a.m., all that kind of stuff. We'll go into start group times. Now, this one's a little different than the other races. The first 3 start groups will open up at 3:15, and the last 2 will open up at 3:45. Again, kind of a 5-minute, or you have 5 minutes between the first 2 corrals closing. 5:10 will be Group C. Group D will be 5:30, and then cleared for A. So just make sure, making note of those times and getting into your corrals before they close. Again, reminders, race etiquette, tracking tab there as well. Transportation, this one starts a little bit sooner, so you'll have transportation to start from 2:30 to 4:30. This is a much larger race than the previous 2 in the weekend, so you'll want to make sure you have ample time to get to the start. And then post-race transportation will run from 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And for this one, this is also a little different. If you are staying at a Magic Kingdom resort, you will take the monorail to the half marathon. This is only for the half marathon. They don't do this for the 5K or 10K, just for the half marathon. You will take the monorail if you're staying at a Magic Kingdom resort to the start. That will begin, again, same times, 2:30 to 4:30. So keep that in mind. There, and then, of course, as always, there's no Skyliner transportation for any race at Run Disney Weekend, so don't expect to take that either. Road closure map, again, more road closures for this one because you're running more on the roads. This is the standard kind of Epcot to Magic Kingdom and back course, so if you are looking to spectate, especially if you're looking to spectate at Magic Kingdom, make sure you are giving yourself ample time to get there and be mindful of those road closures. Speaking of spectating, we have our spectating viewing spots. Again, start and finish, standard viewing spots. You also have the Transportation and Ticket Center. This is a very popular spectating spot for people. That whole area is usually filled. And then Main Street USA will also have a bunch of spectators. That's always a fun spot to spectate if you are looking to do so. And that will be open from 5:15 to 7:30. If you don't need a ticket to enter. So if you are looking to spectate, check that out. And then, of course, the course. This is pretty standard, pretty similar to what we saw, or what we should have saw with Marathon Weekend this year. And then, nothing really to start. Again, compared to last year, we did start still on the road. This now we're starting in the parking lot. That change was made with Marathon Weekend this year. So you'll start to go out and make your way on towards Magic Kingdom. Your first, basically 4 miles are all on road. You'll reach the TTC right at 4 miles. And then you have some more roadway before you get into the Magic Kingdom. Compared to last year's course, the Magic Kingdom has some slight tweaks. Nothing too crazy. But you will, instead of running in front of Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you'll run behind it by Gaston's Tavern and the Little Mermaid, stuff like that. And then as you come through the castle and into Frontierland, you will do a hairpin turn by Big Thunder. This is kind of a standard for Marathon Weekend that we do that, and they didn't do that last year for the half, but now this year you will do that. So just keep that in mind. Just some slight changes there. Also, then when you come back towards into Epcot, there is one food stop on this course. Keep that in mind. That is just past mile 8. If you need fuel before that, make sure you bring it with you. But that food stop should be Sports Beans. That's what it's been for that was what it was for Wine and Dine in Marathon Weekend. Usually it's the same for the entire season at least. So expect Sports Beans. But that is that. And then we'll go into, and when you come into Epcot, again, your Epcot time is not very long. It's kind of one of the downsides to this course is when you start and finish at Epcot, you kind of don't get a ton of park time on this. In this course, and the Marathon Weekend and Princess are always the same. I should say 99% of the time they're the same. And the biggest downside outside of, Magic Kingdom time is great. There's nothing like running down Main Street and stuff like that. But outside of the Magic Kingdom, this course is pretty dull. They'll have plenty of entertainment on the course, plenty of characters and stuff like that. They always do. But it's a lot of roads. It's a lot of roads. So be prepared for that if it is your first time. I know Princess has a ton of first timers. So there is that. But as for the Epcot finish portion, you'll come in over by the Land and Figment. You'll run into World Celebration, and you'll go kind of in the middle. You won't go past the Walt statue like you did for the 5K, but you'll kind of go out through and then past. For this one, you go out the front of Epcot instead of through between Connections and Creations like the other two This is also what was supposed to happen for the Walt Disney World Marathon, weekend half marathon. Of course, because it was then changed to the half of a half, we didn't get to do that. But I'm excited that they are bringing this back, for at least for the half marathons that you run out the front. Because way back when, pre-COVID, that is, or I should say pre-Epcot construction, so like pre-2019, I think. We always ran out the front of Epcot past Spaceship Earth, so you had that Spaceship Earth view in the background and photos and stuff, so that was always great. So they're bringing that back now, so I'm excited about that. But otherwise, that is your half course. Just some points of emphasis. They'll have plenty of porta potties and stuff on course, but otherwise real bathrooms, kind of you have a real bathroom at the TTC, so you can take advantage of that. Inside Magic Kingdom, once you go into the park, you'll have one in Tomorrowland, and then you'll have one back by in the Fantasyland area by Gaston's. You'll have one over in Fantasyland again by Pinocchio's Village House. You can run over there through the castle. Then you'll go into Frontierland. There is the one by I don't know if that one will be open. It's not always, but the one in Adventureland, kind of in that breezeway area there. There's that one, and I think that may be it. Probably I think Cheshire Cafe. There's a bathroom over there. That is a popular stop as well. Those are kind of your in-park bathrooms there. Then you won't have another real bathroom until you go back into Epcot. There will be one at Figment right as you enter the park, and then there will be one just before you exit out of the park again by Spaceship Earth on the right side there. So those are kind of your real bathroom stops if you're looking for that. But yeah, that is the half marathon course. Outside of that, you'll again photo pass here after the race is over. You can do it before the race or after the race, but your photos won't start being loaded till sometimes they're pretty quick, sometimes it takes a little bit, and they kind of all come in phases. So like you'll maybe get a few to start, and they'll keep adding them up throughout the day. So just keep that in mind. Keep checking back for those photos when you enter your bib number in with the code. And then we have one more event for the weekend, and that will be yoga. A change this year for a yoga for Princess Weekend is, instead of having it on Thursday before the races, it is now on Monday after the races. I've never done yoga. I don't know if this is a better move. I don't know. For every other time they've done yoga, it's been before the races. After the races, and I don't know, it just seems kind of weird that it's kind of after the races now. But I guess it could be a good thing, stretch out kind of thing. This will be in the Magic Kingdom at 5:30 in the morning on Monday the 26th. It will be a 1-hour experience. So get a yoga mat, a bottle of water. You park at the TTC bus, and then there will also be buses. Now keep in mind, bus transportation for this one is a little different. Each specific resort has a specific pickup time, so be mindful of that. Most of them are 3:30, 3:40, or 3:35. So make sure you check which resort you are staying at and which pickup time it is. And there is only one bus, or not necessarily one bus, but one pickup time. So for the races, the buses just keep coming and coming and coming throughout that whole pickup period time. So if your pickup time is 3:30, that's it. They won't be sending more buses, for a period of time. You get that one pickup time, and it's over. If you miss that, then you got to find your own transportation there. So keep that in mind. And then you'll check in at the TTC there, and you'll take the ferry over to the Magic Kingdom, and that's that. And that's yoga. Outside of that, there's again, you'll have sponsor stuff here. They are doing the 50% off water parks deal. Blizzard Beach is currently the water park open, so you can get 50% off at Blizzard Beach throughout the weekend if you would like to partake in that. There's also some Disney Springs discounts if you wear your medal or have your bib, that kind of thing, like 10% off homecoming, or 10% off some shopping, stuff like that, 15% off at store. It's all different. So if you are interested in stuff like that, be sure to check out the discounts on the event guide. And then, yeah, again, all these are all sponsors and stuff like that. Nothing too different, nothing too crazy. So yeah, that is Princess Half Marathon Weekend. If there is something more specific you were looking for, don't hesitate to ask questions. Also, make sure you're checking the guide for yourself, looking things over. Like I said, this isn't that in-depth this time around because not a whole lot changed. So I didn't, doesn't pay to keep repeating myself over and over and doing hour-long videos for stuff that doesn't really change. So yeah, like I said, comments, questions, concerns, send them my way. Ryan on the Run on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever. But yeah, hopefully you all have a fantastic Princess Half Marathon Weekend, and we'll see you at springtime.